we say welcome to I Live Here with myself, Stephen, and Fonz. Hello, Fonz.
Me. Yeah,
yep.
Hi.
Yeah, well, you're over there. I know that.
No, I can't do that because when I look to go, because you're that side to me.
Yes.
That's that way. That's the one I need. That's the one.
Yeah, it's totally counterintuitive. And if you want to join us either on camera or on audio only, then just type guest in the comments and that will work. And we'll take it from there. Right. Okay. Let's see what happens if I.
I was going to say we had a lot of people. We had a lot of people last week doing audio only, and that worked quite well.
Yeah, we had Barb and Gospel and Corinda.
Oh, do you know what I mean? It seems so long ago now, doesn't it? It seems like
time flies. Time flies. I mean, today Angelica is sat out in the sun reading a book. That's what we couldn't have done that last week. This week you can.
She speaks foreign languages, so which language is it?
She's a German teacher.
Yeah. So is it in German?
But the book is in English.
Ah.
Okay. She's dual language.
That's what I mean. I can imagine.
Well, no.
She'd be able to. I bet she could sit there and read the old.
Well, she could read a book in German, Dutch, or English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can barely read one in English, so.
Well, we Brits aren't into languages to the same extent as other people are. And it's just a matter of. Yep.
English is the hardest language to learn because so many words have double meanings.
That's true, and different spellings.
Most lazy at it. Yeah, and we're the most lazy at it. So everybody says, we can sit go. English is easy. Not to somebody who don't speak it. It's not.
Well, if it's a language you're born with, then you sort of absorb it from your parents and from your friends and from school. You learn the rules, and it becomes second nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It becomes part of everyday life. Yeah. So we think what it is. A lot of people think because of that it's easy, but to other people it's not.
No.
It's the hardest language.
Indeed. Well, we'll continue the show in English rather than in French, German, Italian, or Dutch or Spanish. Come to that.
Unless somebody wants to come on audio only and translate what we're saying.
Well, that'd be good. That'd be good. Yeah, that's an idea. There's somebody who wanted to actually do sign language the other day.
Yeah, that's a good idea as well.
Yeah, to bring somebody in to actually sign the show.
It's really good because you can put them in a little box in the corner, can't you, while you're talking?
Oh yeah.
In the corner.
Yeah. We have the technology. Let's see if we can find somebody who's willing to do that with us.
That sounds like the $6 million man. We have the technology to rebuild him.
We do. We've got awesome technology at the moment. Right. Okay. Now you sent me some links earlier for some books, which will be helpful if you are doing your own research.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do.
I was going to say no. Sorry, I keep butting in over you. I've got a bit of delay for you, so your mouth's still moving when you're not talking. So I've got a bit.
All right. Okay.
I do apologise if I keep butting in. I'm just trying to guess when you're not talking.
All right. Right.
Carry on.
No, hopefully the show is going out. Our voices are in sync.
No, you're right now. You're in sync now. Why don't you put yourself back in sync? No, I was going to say a lot of people have contacted me because we said about going out in their own area and finding out about their local history and what people have got in their own areas, bits of advice and all that, and some of the links that you've got useful research books for people starting out. So I thought I'd share them on the show today, so people can interesting books that they can sit down, look through, and it gives them advice and information about researching not only local. Some of them are not just. I think some of them are not just local history, but your family history and the history of where the house you live in and stuff.
Indeed. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go voice only, so you can still hear me, and I'm going to share my screen. And fingers crossed with this. This is all high-tech stuff. And we're going to go to the first book and come back and bring the book up on the screen. And Fonz, it's over to you.
Yeah, as you can see, it's on Amazon, and you can get it from Amazon. But it's basically one of the. This is the first stop book. I can't see how much it says on there. How much it is? Buy used copy for 50. Is that 50 euros in the corner? You can buy a used copy for 50 euros.
It's $10.99 in paperback.
Yeah. All right. I'm looking at the wrong bit then. So it's $10.99 if you want it. And if you're local research, this is the first stop place book to go, really, because it tells you about basically things to look out for in your village, your town, and not only that, but your home where you live as well. So it gives you hints of places where to look. And if you're like looking in your village, like we did before when I did a walk around Melbourne I think it was last year. I did a walk around Melbourne, point out this building like this, and the reason why these shaped like this because it was a pub, and it gives you things to look out for and know what buildings to look out for and certain names and names of streets and all that. So if you want to learn your local history of where you live, not necessarily a village, it's a town as well, and also on top of that, you can find out about your house. Now, your house might be. Now, you might say to me, my house is only 5 years old, 20 years old. It's brand new. But the thing is, what was there before? Now, the house that I live in, I know what was here before. I watched my house be. The funny thing is, I watched my house be built many years ago, about 20 years ago, and before it was open fields, and used to play. And used to be at the bottom of my road. Now, there used to be a gate where you could climb over and get through. So you can find out what was there before. Not necessarily your house was there, but something else. It could have been an old building, shop, anything, or specific landmark. So yes, brilliant. First stop book. This is for local research, and it's a bargain for $10.99, I think.
Indeed, it's in order to do your research, you've got to do your research, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you've got
that's a true fact. That's a true fact. Before you can do research on what you want to research, you've got to find research on the things you want to find research about. That's right.
And the more you prepare, it's like anything. It's like writing a book or doing a course or something. You've got to prepare because it's a project.
Well, the good thing about this, the author of this book, like us, I've done shows talking about my local history, and what this has happened here, this author has put together a book by stuff that their own research. Well, they probably didn't have a book to tell them at all. So they're thinking, I want to share how I did it with other people and give them advice, and it's brilliant. So it's filling the void where there wasn't one, where they probably didn't.
Okay, so I'm going to post the UK link for that book into the chat, so that if you want to check it afterwards, just replace the co.uk with amazon.com and you should be able to find the book. And the second book, I'll stop sharing that, which brings us back on screen, and I'll now share the second book. Probably a good idea to get rid of the first and I don't get confused. Right, so screen share again, and I'm going to screen share that Chrome tab. And we're going to Oxford now. I mean, you're in Cambridge and promoting Oxford. I don't know about this. Right, okay. So again, I'll drop down, bring that up on screen, and
family and local history. So here's another book, and this one is how much? You can get it on Kindle for. Oh, I'm sorry about this.
It's okay. It's on Kindle.
$3.99. You get it for $3.99 on Kindle. Hardcover 50p. Got paperback $14.99. So it's a bargain there, and it's family and local history. So where we were looking at before, towns, villages in your home, if you want to extend to that, or you just want to find out about your family and local history, this would be your first stop. So good thing about what this book could probably teach you is if your family's got long roots where you live. My family is very local and got long roots in it, and my family name pops up all over the place around here because of the long connection with it. And so if your family is connected to a local area and got long roots, this is probably the best book for you, because you can find out about not only your family and at the same time find out about the connections with the local area as well. You might find out that your great granddad was a local butcher, or your great uncle Tony used to run a cycle shop or something, or your mum was, or your granny was a school cook or something, and find it. Then if you find that out, you can then also use with this information in this book, find out about the history of the school. So your granny was a cook in the school, a bit about the school that she worked in and stuff like that. So yeah. And it's Oxford book as well. Okay.
It is an Oxford book, which shows that it's the quality that wins through, not allegiance to our own town.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those two books get you off to a good start in actually how to set about researching.
Yeah.
And we'll come to two other books in a moment.
But both the two that you showed are basically two different areas in the same sort of thing, if you want, if you know what I mean. The first one is your local history of your town, village, or home. So if you're looking at that and you already know about your family, you know, okay, I don't need that one. But if you want to know about your family and your local history, you haven't started on your family, this is a good stepping stone for that as well. So it gives you two options in the same area. If people get what I mean, I know what I mean.
I know you know what you mean, and I know what you mean. How did you actually get started in history, in Cambridge history? Do you do history at school, or what was the sort of motivation for?
Well, I'll tell the interesting story of at school. My history teacher, because I said to her, I want to do local history when I get older, and she goes, I don't think you will. I don't think you will. Don't get your hopes up. So I proved her wrong. But it's a case of when I was young, my mum and dad grew up around Cambridge. Like my mum would show me, she saw a lot of famous bands in Cambridge. I'm trying to think of some at the top of the Who. She got to meet them personally, the Who, and all different bands, and social life with me. My mum and dad would tell me when I was really little, this used to be here, that used to be there, and that used to be there. And I used to imagine, with I suppose I had a really big active imagination as a child. I wonder what it was like for them. I'm standing here, this is it, but they had that there, and I wonder what it was like. I wish I could see it. So when I got a little bit older, with some friends, I went to the library and looked up some old pictures of Cambridge on the areas that my mum and dad were speaking about, and I went back and I was just so fascinated by them. And that's when it sort of snowballed, really. Actually, I wanted to start finding that and just absorbing the information. And just as soon as I come into one thing, found something else out, and something else out, and something else. And it's really funny, but I can't do it now. I couldn't do it now. Back at school, when I was at school, in one of my history lessons, we had to do a subject in history that we were passionate about. Somebody did about Adolf Hitler. I've done that.
Right. Okay.
Somebody did about JFK, and somebody did about something else. But I did about Petty Curie in Cambridge. And I think even though people won't admit it, I think I impressed a few people because I was able to name every building to be down, every shop, company that was down Petty Curie from 1900 until the present day. So like number one was this building, this building, this building, this building, this building. We're now there. Number two was this, and straight off the top of my head, I can't do it now. Some of them I can remember.
Well, so it's again, you were doing research, weren't you? I mean, to get to that stage.
Well, I went for a lot of street directories to remember that. And I do get a lot of older people in Cambridge who grew up in Cambridge who have misinterpreted the past, not because they're wrong, it's how they remember it. I don't think anybody's wrong. And I have had a few wrong, you're wrong, and you're wrong, but I know I'm right because I've done the research.
Right. Now, how did the Cambridge Historian come about? Because that's what you're known as today on the first on radio, now on Facebook with the weekly show. How did that begin?
Well, I started, another thing that I always wanted to do, which I was told that it never happened, was work on radio. Mm-hmm. And back then, Cambridge had a lovely community radio station called 209 Radio. And it's brainchild of a guy called Cole Hartland. And I was first involved cutting out bits of articles back in the day for breakfast news stories. Mm-hmm. You know, you first step in there and just doing odd jobs. And Cole got to find out that I liked local history and kept saying, why don't you do a history show? Why don't you? No, right. Not me. And one day I said, okay, I'll do a special over like May. I'll do a one-off special, 1 hour long, a timeline of Cambridge from fast back as I can go to the present day. Okay. Playing old music and all that in the middle. Right. Did that. It took me 2.5 hours to record just my vocal track because of the mess ups I kept making, because I just didn't feel it was right. Then it took me, I've done over 18 hours to edit because this is back a long time ago. Yep. And it went out, and apparently, as far as what I was told, it was the highest listened to show on the station ever. And actually had people commenting, sending messages saying that it brought tears to their eyes, like emotional and amazing about the history. I was a bit dumbfounded, and he said, can you do a regular one? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't expecting that. So I said, I'll do one every now and then. So I did a second. Then he wanted it monthly. Then he wanted it fortnightly. And it grew and grew. But sadly, because being a community station, the station didn't have the funding and all that. Right. And sadly, they closed down. So that was the end of that. And I went on to do different things with other radio stations. They weren't interested in the history thing. They very different kind of platform, but they were interested in my, I don't know, what my reception was on radio, and thought that I could bring that across because I had a big listenership through that show. So they thought I could bring that through. So I'd worked on other shows, and it disappeared for a few years. Mm-hmm. Because back then it was called Cambridge Time Traveller then.
All right, okay.
Cambridge Story. And basically the approach to it was the reason why it's called the Cambridge Time Traveller, the very first show approach was me stepping back in time. Mm-hmm. And going through time. Right. And so it kept that kind of theme. And that disappeared. And because I felt it was unique to that station, I dropped that idea and just kept going on doing history stuff, just general history stuff, and people kept sending me. The reason why the name Cambridge Historian, now there's other people that do Cambridge history and they're good at what they do, and we all talk to each other, right, and stuff, but I kept getting messages to the Cambridge Historian. Dear Cambridge Historian, can you tell me what this is? So I thought, well, if everybody's calling me that, that's the name I use, so that's where it come from messages that people were sending me. So the name was given to me by people contacting me.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So you start to spend more and more time actually answering people's questions.
Oh yeah, that actually started coming a full time thing. Like even now, I get you get used to it. You put a certain time to one side to do that. Yeah. I get people. Canada, I'll have to speak to David Burrows about this. Canada, I get so many emails from Canada, it's unbelievable. Right. Canada loves Cambridge. I've got to find out why Canada loves Cambridge.
We can, if
and New Zealand and Australia, they're the main places.
That's the Commonwealth, isn't it? So if anybody from the Commonwealth is watching, can you explain your fascination with Cambridge, other than the fact that it's got its universities and its history? And right, on to the next book. So I'm going to screen share again, And we're going to share another book which will help you with researching history in your own area. And I'm going to bring that up on screen now. And I'm going to disappear. And when I get this set up, Fonz, I'll let you know. So I'm going to disappear.
Yeah. No, you.
And hopefully in a second. Right. It's over to you. And I can tell you that the price of the book that you're looking at is called Writing Local History. Yeah, and the Kindle edition is $14.24. It was written in 2007.
I can't even point at it.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. How's that?
I'm getting it the wrong way round. I was pointing at it while you were talking, saying that. I thought I'd point it out, but I couldn't even get it the right way round. Right.
Okay.
Now, this one, Writing Local History. So, say you got the first 2 books, or which one was relevant to you, and you really enjoyed finding out the local research. You found out that your house was built on an old site for a, hospital, and you found all this out. And then you found out your uncle was the bike shop repairman, and your granny worked in the school, and you found out the school went back to 1885, the original building, and they expanded and all this, and you got all this wonderful knowledge of all these things, and like, I know all this stuff, and it's like brilliant. This, when you're walking through the village where you live or wherever you live, this is how it is for me. That was built in 1870. That was such and such before that. That was there. And there lived Mrs. Green for 110 years. I don't know, something like that. But that's how it is in your head, and you think, I want to share this with people, and you don't know how. You found all your research out and you don't know how, but you want to share with other people in your area. Well, this book's perfect for that, because it will give you guide and advice of how to put together an article. Doesn't necessarily have to be a book, an article that you can put on the internet, share in a magazine, because there's lots of magazines that take local history magazines. Or if you do want to go the full way out of a book, give you advice for that. So it's the next step up from research. It's sharing your research, and it's always good for people who have personally done the research. And I've read books by people who have told history of a local area, and the amount of mistakes that are in them because they don't actually live in that area or actually done the research personally themselves. They've just looked at documents and put it together. So getting it from a person who's lived locally, lived that life and got connections to make a brilliant book, and this is a good way of doing it through this book here. I can't hear you.
And now you can hear me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I lost sound for a moment there.
Hopefully I've solved that. But that's how it is. When you do a bit of research,
yeah,
it's like, I don't know. Let's pick. Say I'm standing on a lot of people Market Square. Originally, the Victoria Cinema was 4 buildings in. That was there in 1896 as the Victoria Assembly Rooms, then came the Electric Theatre in 1911, then it came the Victoria Cinema in 1915, it burnt down in 1926, it was moved further up the road at the far end in 1930, it had a fire in 1952, it showed the first all-night horror film in 1978, it closed down in 1988, so stuff like that. That's all. When you're walking around like me, you're walking around. That's all in your head.
Yep.
All that kind of all those information's in your head, and sometimes, God, how do I tell people? So that's the thing. Probably when you're researching local history, it's a good way to get that out. If you do research it.
Yeah.
Now, so we don't, like I said, you don't have to write a book. It could be a small article, even for a village magazine.
Yeah.
It could be. Because there's a lot of village magazines that take articles. There's a lot of, especially around here, talking about local history. So you can share what you find as well.
Okay. But in order to share what you find, you've got to have it somewhere. You've got to store it. How do you actually store your information?
How do I store it?
Yeah, besides the wall behind you, which we can see.
Yeah, I take things off when I need them. No, I've had a lot of stuff that I've had to have a clear out. A lot of what I do, which is stuff I find. Now, we've got a local library, and then they've got a collection called the Cambridge Collection. Now they're talking about moving that out to Healey, which is a bit ridiculous, but that's their thing. But I've actually been in there and took documents that I've got, and they don't hold copies.
Right.
So what I've done is I've donated my copies to them. It goes under a file, under my name, sort of thing.
Right.
So like so it's kept in a safe environment. So they've got they're all properly looked after, like in vaults and all that downstairs. And I take screenshots and copies of stuff. So I got mine in digital form. So like a lot of the photos that I've got, I've donated to other community groups, and all of them to the Cambridge Collection, and I've scanned them and just kept the scanned copies, because to keep them personally, I would need a very big house, and I would need the right storage equipment, because the things have to be kept at the right temperature and the right. And I just haven't got that. There is some things that I do keep.
Okay.
There is like bits and bobs that I do keep, but stuff that I know that is very valuable and need to be shared with other people, I give to them.
So,
and I can always get it back.
Yep. Yeah, you can borrow it back, and if you need to.
Well, no, it's legal. It's still legally mine.
All right.
It's still legally mine because I've donated it to them. It'd be a bit mean to do that. They go, right, I gave you 6 photos of Petty Curie last week. All of them back.
No, it's not. I didn't imagine that for a moment. Right.
But I could do if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. If you know what I mean.
Okay.
So.
But where do you keep your research notes? That's the document side, the photographs and the newspaper cuttings and what have you. But
a big cabinet I've got with lots of papers and lots of documents. I've got, I don't know, maybe in years to come, I'd probably auction them off. I've got little notebooks.
All right. Okay. Now we're getting to it.
Full of stuff that I've written down and written down and there, and I've loads of them, and I've kept every single one of them, because a lot of the stuff is like especially in my early days, because I didn't know really much, and it's like this, and you could, I think, look by the way how quick I've written it, because I'm so excited about it. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, sometimes photographs to accompany the notes of your own.
Yeah, I've got my own. I've got two hard drives full of original old photos of Cambridge that were not taken by me. They were taken by other people. A lot of people have donated photos to me and gave me photos because they don't know what to do with them and see me. So I copy them, say, look, okay, can I copy them? But I'm going to donate them to the Cambridge Collection, or I'm going to donate them to this place. I'm going to donate to, if it's like a certain building, for instance, I donate to, if that building's still there, I donate to them. I got given a school archive, a load of slides. Somebody passed away. I got a whole load of slides, and nobody knew what was on. They were just sitting in this box for ages. And I went through them. There were a whole 10 years of a local school, and I gave it back to them, the whole 10 years worth of the photos. So these were kids from the 70s, no idea who they were.
Right.
Apparently the person who had them was a former teacher there. They kept the slides. So I gave them, I copied them off, get copies of them to archive. So I've got a digital form, and they've got the originals back. And it's just, it's the same with everything. I also take my own photos, because like I go on to people. Right. History isn't just about yesterday, it's about today as well, because it's tomorrow's future history. And I've got endless amounts of video that I've done, even like short bits, like 2 minutes here, 30 seconds here, this, that, and I've just chucked them all on a hard drive. And same with photos. I don't know how many photos of Cambridge I've took, but there are so many. It's unbelievable. This is from like early 2000s right through to today. There is so many I've lost count, and I go through them, and I look at them sometimes. I like flick through. That's not there anymore, and he took that 3 years ago, and stuff like that. So it shows you how quick it changes as well.
That's true.
So I do have a big collection.
Right. Okay.
I must have way past 8,000 photos. Way, lot more than that.
And what drives your fascination with history?
What's that?
What is your fascination with history? Why does it have, such a big part in your life? And we'll come on to your Facebook show in a minute.
Yeah, well, history is. I think I've always told I've got like I absorb information. I've got my mind like a sponge. I like soaking stuff up, and like everybody, it's true. I've done it. You go through everyday life and you don't take notice, and things disappear, and next day, something new. But I walk around and I try. I don't know. It's like I think outside the box, sort of thing. Like, well, how did I get here? Okay, I'm here because I was standing here right now. I caught the bus, or I caught the train, or came in, and I'm coming here because of that. But then, then I'm a child of this person, that person, that person. But how did they get? Wait a minute, but what happened then and that? And then before you know it, you're thinking back. Whoa, how far back? And then you look around you and you think, how did that get there? Why is that there? And why is that there? And this over here and that over there. And before you know it, why was that? Or why is that building look like that? It don't look like the rest of the building. There's got to be a reason why it's like that. Or why is it called that? Why is it called that? A good example in Cambridge is the Grafton Centre, which is a shopping arcade in Fitzroy Street. That was knocked through because Fitzroy Street went originally right down to East Road, and you had Gold Street coming off and that, and other streets, and it came run down, and it had to be demolished. Now this area was called the Kite area because it's shaped. One of the first things, like, why is it called the Kite? Why is it called the Kite? That's a lot what people ask. But if you look at it on a map, the area is shaped like a kite. So that's why it's called the Kite. And one thing that I used to think of as a child, why is the Grafton Centre? Because it was a new thing, it just opened when I was young. Why is it called the Grafton Centre? What connection? There was Grafton Street, which was a bit further up, but there was no connection to that because Grafton Street was named after a guy called John Grafton, and it had no connection to the Grafton Centre. And one of the early things that I found out was, why was it called the Grafton Centre? And what I found out was Fitzroy Street was named after Henry Augustus Fitzroy. Now, he was a former Prime Minister and a Chancellor at the university, and he was the 3rd Duke of Grafton. And basically his street, Fitzroy Street, was half of it was taken down to build the Grafton Centre. So, and clause in, if it was to happen, they had to be named after him in some way, and hence Grafton, for him being the 3rd Duke of Grafton. But it's normally, I can't imagine the amount of people that walk through that every single day don't just get on with their life because they want to get down to down a shop down the other end. I don't know, let's and buy some clothes or get the latest phone. They don't think, oh, why is it called the Grafton? But I've always been the kind of person to ask straight away, well, why is it that? So that's what gives an idea of my mind.
Your fascination is fascinating.
How my mind works.
Right. Okay. Well, let's go on to the next book that you brought forward this week, and I'm just going to do a screen share again and bring in the book. Hopefully I've got the right one. Let's find out in a minute, and come back. Bring the book on screen. I'm going to go down the lobby, but you'll still hear.
Yeah, this is a collection a collection of different books with different topics, but this one is like history detectives. And what it is, the history detectives investigate. So it's a group who discover history connections, and I suppose they've been digging in local history, and this is them giving you advice on how they did it for your local history. So advice and information of how they managed to find out local information, and tips of how you can do it, get your first steps in it. A bit like the very first book we looked at. So there are books out there about local history.
So before you research your local area, research the books. And I'm just going to put the last link in there. So you've now got in the comments on this thread all the books that Fonz has been talking about, which you can check out. And as I say, all you need to do is substitute.com for the .co.uk, and you'll get through the book.
And the good thing about getting these books as well, it also give you places where to go to find the information, like which is the best places. So if you're not sure, if you don't know, I know where to go to get my information. Do you know what I mean? Because I know, but there's people that don't know, and if you don't know where to go, you're not going to find it. So I think if you're taking the first step into wanting to discover your local history, I think these books are probably the first step, because they will tell you how to do it and also the places to go to find the information.
Brilliant. I'll just take that off screen now. And back to the two of us, and we'll officially say hello to Tish. Hello, Tish. Thank you for joining us. All good. Right, now, you talked about serious Cambridge Historian was on the radio, and then you discovered last year BeLive.tv.
Yeah, but it was like a lot of people, you know anyway, that when I was doing radio, I'd have to sit there and describe a photo. Like this picture behind me of a man dressed as a frog is actually from Cambridge Arts Theatre. It's a performance from 1936, I do believe, something like that. And if I was describing that picture, I'd say, well, there's a man dressed as a frog. He seems to have a white, bit pink, like a suit jacket on with white front and big white eyes, and he's standing against a white wall and casting a shadow, and all time consuming, really, explaining that. And that's what was hard about radio. As things progressed, though, way round that, I set up a website called Cambridge Time Traveller and put the pictures on that. So I said to people, okay, in this show we're talking about this. Okay, we're now looking at picture one. So if you go to the website at this while you listen to the show and click on it, you'll see picture one, and that's what we're talking about at the moment. That worked okay for a little while. Of course, then the show ended, and I always knew it would be brilliant as a visual show. And back then there was no way of doing it. Then when I found out about Be Live, it was like, whoa, this is brilliant, because it's exactly what I want. And I can show the pictures, people can see the guests, they can interact with me and the guests, and perfect. So what I was asking for way back in the beginning is now possible. And it's proved that it can be successful, because the amount of hits that the show gets, views worldwide, is unbelievable. It's a massive amount of viewers who watch the show and get involved with it. And of course, we've got our regular viewers, we get new viewers, and everybody gets involved. And I'm hoping that it'll inspire people to do their own sort of local history show in their own local area as well. We might get Birmingham historian or something pop up talking about their local history. The doors are certainly open to do that, and hopefully I inspire people to do that. But the funny thing is now, my show, like you said we were saying about radio, because doing radio shows and podcasts. It's funny how my show started off on radio. Mm-hmm. You couldn't put it on radio now because of
True. It's
so it shows it was never radio friendly, but it was successful, which is the way strange thing. It was successful on radio, but it was never radio friendly. I suppose it's just my enthusiasm. Like that's what a lot of people said.
True. It's knowledge, enthusiasm, and the fascination that you have for history. I think that all combines to create what we call an entertaining, informative, and educative. Nearly got that one right. Show. So congratulations on that. And you're now in season 2 and 3. So I can't keep up. You're moving so fast, I can't keep up. Yeah.
And that's just blew me away, because on some of the shows, the viewing figures have doubled to what the very first episode was.
Yep.
And so it's growing. And I thought, I'll do one. That's how I thought of it first of all. I'll do one series, see how it goes. I can't imagine it taking off after that.
Right.
Proved myself wrong, which is good.
Oh yeah. All good. And the show goes out.
It's even got its own theme tune now.
Indeed, by Jason. Yeah. Which is available for sale. Once you've heard it, it keeps playing in your head, and you've got to go out and buy it. I think that's why it was done.
But that's what. No, but that's the thing is, when I sat down, when I did radio, the theme music for the show was "In My Life" by the Beatles off the Rubber Soul album.
Yeah. And
that came quite iconic. But the thing is, on Facebook, you can't do that because they were broadcast straight away.
Yep.
And I wanted to make it unique anyway. I wanted to make it something to do with Cambridge, more Cambridgey. So I sat down with Jason. I did ask a few of them, local bands, but none of them were none of them were really interested in my style sort of thing. They have their thing, and it sort of didn't fit. It's sort of basically their style didn't fit what I was looking for, which is fair enough. And I sat down with Jason, because I thought he'd be perfect for it anyway. So I sat down with Jason, and we sat down, and he was saying, "Well, what are you looking for?" And I said, "Well, I want key things mentioned in this song: Mill Road, Petty Curie, certain bits. I want you to mention that the Beatles were at the Regal. I want you to mention that Jimi Hendrix was at Dorothy, and Syd Barrett riding his bike, and that's got to be a bit in it. It's got to be Syd Barrett riding his bike in there." And he goes, "Okay, yeah, I'll take these notes and put something together." I said, "Oh," then I phoned him up a bit later. I want it to end with, and King's is the final stop, as in King's College, because we had to fit it in somewhere. And he goes, "Why is that?" I go, "Because a lot of people contact me about the universities, but I don't do university history. So they sort of like to say, this is all the town that I talk about and the city that I talk about beforehand, but King's is a final stop sort of thing, because it's right at the end. It's not what I focus on." And he goes, "Oh, I get you. So he put that brilliantly at the end. And I said, he goes, "Anything else?" I go, "No, I want you to make it catchy." And he certainly did that.
He certainly did. Because, as I say, once you've heard it, you can't get it out of your head. You've got to go and buy it and play it. Yeah. So that's how it all came together. So it's been a process over a number of years.
Yeah. Well, between the radio show ending and the B Live show starting, it's 10 years.
Right.
So people started looking in local history. It don't happen overnight. I started getting involved with local history when I was about 11 years old. That was my very first thing, really. Yeah. So
and that was
it's a long period.
And
I'm old now.
Just to show I've been listening. That was the project you did about Petty Curie.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, good. Right. If anybody's watching has got any questions for Fonz or myself Fonz about history, definitely. Me about broadcasting, then please do ask. If you want to join us on camera, then just type guest, and you're more than welcome to come and join us on camera. Either, and this is a hint to Tish, either you can come on camera or you can come on audio only with the camera switched off. Because Tish has been on the broadcast. Tish was on with Eileen, and she was on sound only. So,
what today? Yeah.
Yep. Perhaps she'll be able to join us. Right. Just a shout out about tomorrow. This is a small advert. Tomorrow is a special day. Fonz spoke earlier about Be Live TV and it making shows possible. The new version of Be Live is called Be Live Studio 2, and I've been fortunate to be one of the beta testers of Be Live Studio 2, and I've got a course on Udemy about it. But tomorrow there's a very special offer on a show I'm doing at 9 AM Eastern, 2 PM in the UK, and you can win, literally, I know this to be true, you can win 6 months subscription, standard subscription to BeLive.tv, and you can start your own show. Now, to actually win, yeah, I know, mate. And
wow,
thank you.
Can we get 6 months free, or is it just new people?
I think it's open to everybody who's an existing subscriber or a new subscriber. Really? I don't think there's any rules. If you can use the 6 month subscription, then all you need to do is to join me live at 2 o'clock tomorrow, 9 AM Eastern, and just say something in the comments, and you'll then go into a draw, and I'll announce the winner on Friday when I'm with Brigetti on Friday. So 6 months subscription.
But the comments, you know what you should do in the comments? It should be like when these things, like when they used to have, do you remember when they used to do competitions on cornflake boxes?
Yeah.
Why should I win this toy? So it should be why they want 6 months free, and what will they use it for?
Yeah. What will you? That's a good one. That's a good one. So yeah. And so that's tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. I've been planning for the last couple of days. It's not the only show there. If you do not win on my show, you've got other chances on shows by Marco Novo, David Burrows, and several other people will be broadcasting live tomorrow. I'll put a link to their shows in my show so that you can actually follow on throughout the day and have multiple chances to actually win 6 months to Be Live.
So what these names go into a hat at Be Live, and they pick out the names?
Now, it's very high tech. I spoke to David about this yesterday, and I said, well, you're going to have all these names. He says, okay, what you do is you take the link to the post. Yeah. You go to a Facebook page called Facebook Giveaways. You give them the link. It then creates a list of all the people who've commented. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And says, would you like me to pick a winner at random?
Wow,
so
that's cool.
All that side is sorted thanks to David.
That's cool because it takes it out of your hands as well, don't it? As well, like you haven't specifically picked anybody; it's randomly picked by this generator.
Totally random. And the thing is that
I like that.
I'll actually video it so you can actually watch the replay. And
it'd be like the lottery, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And in addition,
okay, do it live. Who is the winner?
Oh,
first winner is
that would be a bit risky, wouldn't it? Supposing it picked me, you don't want that to happen live.
Well, at least you know it's random, that you didn't pick yourself.
No, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. I think as presenter of the show, I can't actually win. That would be wrong. No. But if you are,
I think really though it should be like you're saying, like you say it's open to everybody and people even that have already got Be Live, but. It'd be nice if there's somebody who's looking to start off broadcast and give them that first little step into it, wouldn't it, off the ground. So I think, in my opinion, should be hopefully fingers crossed that somebody like that wins it.
Indeed, and also there will be additional smaller prizes as well. You've got a free Udemy course which will tell you what to do in your 6 months using Be Live TV, and I'll be also giving coupons out for other of my courses on Udemy, of which there are now 9. Speaking of which, you could do a course on Udemy. Anyway, we'll talk about that afterwards.
I have been thinking about it. It's just a time thing at the moment. But you never know. You never know what the future holds.
You have more than enough resources.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe like those books, I could, instead of writing a book, produce my own Udemy course of how to discover your local history.
Correct.
So, yeah. Never know.
Do the course.
Me sitting there going, "Hi, I'm Fonz, and this is how you discover your local history." Today, we actually step outside the house.
So you do it literally step by step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it'd be good to actually go to a location and point out stuff like we did in the past show, saying, now I'm picking this building out, specifically pick one building out, and I want to do a bit of research on this building and show people how I've researched it. So that kind of thing. So it's possible.
Practical.
Yeah.
Practical advice.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm a great advocate for Udemy courses. All I can say is that they do make money, and I can prove that, and Angelica can prove it too.
I wasn't thinking about money.
Good.
I was going to charge about £1,800 for the course.
Well, no. If no, money should never be the motivation. It should be one of the bonuses. Because you've got to have, like doing live video, you've got to have a passion for what you're talking about and an interest.
Exactly.
And
that's for a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's with a lot of things, isn't it? If you haven't got the passion, then you ain't going to make the money. And if you don't go, you're not with a passion, you're not going to look for money. So it always ends up as a bonus.
Yeah. You've got to have the motivation for actually doing it, and the passion to share with people, and the expertise, and it all just comes together.
I'll tell you a funny thing. I've seen a lot of people I've worked with in the past in local history come and go, and you sort of learn which ones stay and which ones go.
Right.
Because straight away they're trying to earn money out of it.
Yeah. From
the second that they're like, I've done these pictures and I've done this and I want selling them for £20 each, or I want people to sign up and that's it, etc. And they've got to pay this much money. I'm going to do a talk and I want this much money for it.
Yeah.
I started out doing talks for nothing and just doing them because I was passionate about them. Then I started getting people asking me to do talks, and I turned up. One talk I turned up and they said at the end, who we got to make the check payable to?
Right. Brilliant.
But that's how you basically, if you got the passion, you last. And the people that are already after the money didn't really have the passion. You see them fade away.
Yeah.
You can make it into a living. Basically, I suppose what I'm saying, it can make you money, and you could turn it into a living. But if it's just the money that you're after, then it's not going to happen. You've got to have the passion there as well to keep it going. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
I sense the passion for a book and much more in your future. How's that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. You never say never.
Never.
So Sean Connery and James Bond. Never say never again.
Indeed. Totally indeed.
In that total rip-off movie, James Bond movie, it wasn't James Bond, but it was James Bond because it starred Sean Connery in 1985.
History again. History. And it's not just a history of Cambridge, it's a history of music and of movies.
Yeah.
So you've got three parallel.
I just absorb information.
Yeah.
It sticks. I don't know, like people say to me when I walk around Cambridge, and go to places that I go, and I'm going this, and I'm running up and down. Then I can like say go one street, and I run right. I forgot this. We're all got to come back down this end because this was here, that was there, and I think that's just me being me. And I suppose that like you said, that's the enthusiasm in it. And that's what grabs people's attention.
It is.
I'm not some boring guy going, here in 1925, Mrs. Johnson opened her she sold paintings for 36 years, and then she closed the shop down and it came a chemist. Next. That kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, that's it. You've got to have the enthusiasm there and transmit that through the medium.
I'm not discriminating. I'm not discriminating tour guides, by the way.
No. I mean,
I'm just saying
the thing is that there's a difference, isn't there? A tour guide has to learn the history by rote. They're trained. Yeah. They're trained to be Cambridge City tour guides. They're given the book. The book's a script. They've got to learn the script. As time goes on, they can ad lib. But initially, they've got a script which they're not invested in because it's not their script. They didn't write it.
That's right. And the thing is, they have to, a lot of them, especially the punt people. I did say punts.
Yes, punt, P-U-N-T.
Yeah, they're right up and down. They have got a specific script that they must keep to, and they have to go home and learn it, and they have to keep it word for word. And when you get on a punt, one of these punt people, that you're going up and down, and they just sound so boring. They sound so boring because you can tell it's not. No. It doesn't fit there. Like they've actually got this young lad who's in university, probably doing it for a bit of cash on the side, and you're listening to him and going, I know for a fact he wouldn't talk like that in real life. So it's got no body, no life to it, and I don't like that.
No, me neither. Like passion, enthusiasm, and knowledge, and just enjoying it. I mean, the great thing is we can come here live on Tuesdays and just chat for an hour, and the hour just flies by, and it's just good to do it. It's enjoyable.
Two things. One thing about Cambridge, though, you can always find a bunch of punts in Cambridge.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
And Cambridge is full of punts.
On that note, Fonz, would you like to close? Would you like to close the show?
Brilliant. Yeah. No, I did have a T-shirt that did say that Cambridge is full of punts, which is brilliant. But no, thanks for everybody who tuned in. And if you do a bit of local research and you do find stuff out, or you just want a bit of advice, really, I'll contact me and I'll give it to you. But I love any little things that you find out. Maybe you go out later today, take your dog for a walk, or pick your kid up from school, or go to the co-op for some onions for your steak and kidney pie later. And you think what was here beforehand, then and you start looking into it. Let us know how you get on. But don't forget steak and kidney pie in the oven while you're going now.
Oh, well. From Wiltshire in England, goodbye. We'll both see you next week. And it's goodbye for now. Bye. Right, so that's a wrap. And I'm going to click the button.